So Ethan Klein has basically been going on a tirade for the last month or so, going after Hassan over what is going on in Gaza right now, and what has been going on in Gaza for the last year, over a year, and it's just been nonsensical. Just he's just been losing his shit nonstop. There's a recent story that has been out about a group of Israelis who got beaten up in Amsterdam after chanting very vile shit. And Ethan Klein is trying to paint it out like, oh, these people just hate Jews and that's why they did it. You know, not because the Israelis in question were chanting that, Gaza, children in Gaza should die, Palestinian children should die, and basically saying fuck Arabs. That's literally what they were chanting. And they also started a lot of the violence. There were Palestinian flags that they were ripping up. They were just being assholes, and it caused some tensions. But at the end of the day, it was because of the Israelis in question, and he's been trying to paint them as being victims and being like, "Oh, this was a targeted attack." And it's just it's just a mess. Just seeing this man lose himself in real time and act like a freaking psychopath on Maine. So we're just gonna watch this video here from a Ethan Klein fan channel, by the way, or at least I should say former Ethan Klein fan channel. Also, this is what I was referring to earlier. He was responding to a tweet that Mehdi Hassan was mentioning in terms of what was going on in Amsterdam, what President Biden's statement on it was. Biden was trying to point it out as just being anti-Semitic, and Mehdi Hassan was trying to basically point out no, this is his tweet right here. Those soccer fans, or more accurately hooligans, were attacking people, ripping down Palestinian flags, and chanting happily that there are no kids left alive in Gaza. Oh, and it's you and your administration that helped kill 16,000 Palestinian kids. That will be your legacy. So Ethan spun the story in the only way that he could. He probably saw, Hassan, and was just immediately was just clenched fist and all. So he put this out on his Instagram story because he's too much of a coward to use Twitter now. Mehdi Hassan is justifying and celebrating these Roman attacks against Jews. Even if this were all true, why justify the violence? They were attacking people and chanting that there were dead kids. That should be a fair enough for someone to, be violent towards these people. As far as I can find in the media, I read one instance of a Palestinian flag being torn down confirmed. That's because, it's Western media. They would do anything to defend Israel and the Israeli people, no matter how fucking psychotic they are. Israeli American flags are torn down and burned all the time. Something tells me Mehdi wouldn't be so quick to justify violence against those people. So yeah, he's just losing his shit. We also have here, we might as well talk about this stuff before we get to the video, because I believe this is separate from the video. But Klein.
Just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about, and he fired him because they had a disagreement, and that's so Trump coded.
Well, he was a moderating voice in the war room.
Yeah.
And he got rid of him, or at least a more moderate voice. I don't know anything about the guy. Just recognizes.
I don't know anything about the guy, but I believe he was a moderate voice. And the person that they're talking about is Yoel Gallant, who famously said that people living in Gaza are human animals or wild animals, and said that we would not feed them, we would not give them water, essentially. This is the guy that they are saying was a moderate voice. And
his picture.
Let's just see the rest of this.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
I have ordered complete siege on Gaza. No electricity, no food, no fuel, no water. Yep. This is the person that Yoel Klein is saying was a good person, was a moderate voice. Just completely fucking disgusting. And this was their defense of it. Hila doesn't know a lot about politics, but she knows that Gallant is opposed to BB and wants to end the war. That's why she said That's why she said he's a good guy. He wants to end the war. She's right, and that's objectively bad that he got fired. Yeah, the same guy who called them human and animals is the good guy. Great fucking line of thinking. And I guess she is stepping away from the podcast now, probably because they got so much shit for it. But let's get into the actual video itself.
Well, once again, my friends, an emergency.
Hey, it's been a while since I saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break.
So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true though.
Just as long as it's entertaining to you.
Twitch has an anti-Semitism problem. Host Hassan Piker.
Oh my god.
Challenge him to do better
Why I can't support Ethan Klein anymore, and I'm ashamed I ever did.
than this.
In this video, I just want to explain why I stopped watching H3 over the past few months. What made me go from a pretty big fan of the show to, I guess, what Ethan would call a fallen fan. I've always known Ethan had his shortcomings, and I could usually look past them and
Yeah, like, Ethan Klein is a very controversial person, even without what's been going on since October 7th when it comes to him. But it's one of those situations, like, maybe you could look past it. You know, people grow and learn. And as long as they're, you know, willing to do so, you know, I'll support them if they're willing to do that. But with what Ethan Klein's been doing recently, it's hard to really, like, give him any leeway, especially when he's doing it in real time. And he is just so blatant about, you know, just being a fucking maniac on main. To the point where it's like, nope, there's no real defense anymore for this, in my opinion. I don't think there's any coming back from this, in all my opinion. Like, it's just losing your goddamn gourd. It also makes it feel, I don't know, like the way that he has handled this, where he has turned essentially this in, you know, this genocide, and made a good portion of the discourse, at least when it comes to, you know, online in regards to someone who has been a big voice in the pro-Palestinian movement, Hassan Piker, making the discourse around it, around himself. It's disgusting.
still enjoy the show. But lately, it's been way too much. The hypocrisy and double standards.
Oh yeah, he literally tried to say that Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, was a Nazi, and he even put like the double thunderbolts, the two Z's in the Twitch logo, being like, Dan is a Nazi because he allows anti-Semitism, like we had to dismantle the Zionist entity on Twitch. And because some Twitch streamers made a joke, a comedy tier list regarding certain content streamers, where they said, where like the lowest tier was like Sabra, which was a hummus brand that was made in Israel.
Have just piled up.
That means you hate Jews, despite the fact that there were Arabs in that tier list who were part of the I Love Sabra camp.
So I figured, why not make a video about this to highlight what's been bothering me and why, after all these years, I've decided to stop supporting Ethan.
Why are people mad at me? I want someone, please, to explain it. Explain why you're mad at me. Go ahead. I'm dying. Please.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people who are explaining why they're mad at you. Even your own fans are explaining that. You just don't want to listen to them and blow them off.
Tell me why. I'd love to know why. If you actually articulated why you're mad at me, it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm dying. Please write it. Not even
Yeah, he really wants to know why, but also, like, nothing you would say would make sense.
disagreeing, frankly. Just trying to have a conversation. So, in short, you know, suck my fucking dick.
No, I just want to have a conversation, but also any criticism you have is invalid, and you can suck my dick. I'm just trying to have a conversation, though. I just want to learn.
Echo chamber.
So Ethan has been on a crusade against several creators, including his former co-host Hassan, and recently he's criticized Hassan specifically for not watching the videos or addressing the points Ethan raised against him.
Oh yeah, I was also gonna watch another video. This was from his Ethan Klein channel. He made a recent video lately that was Hamas Piker. not Hamas Piker. Hassan Piker is a weaselly little liar. And I thought about reacting to that, but I was just like, nah, we're just not. Because it's just going to be maddening.
Been talking a lot about my former co-host Hassan Piker and leveling some pretty serious criticism against him. I knew that he wasn't going to take it well and wasn't going to respond to any of the points made. In fact, Hassan, I'm sad to say, did not watch any of it. He didn't watch a single point I made. Instead, he took to saying that I'm crazy.
But about a month ago, I recall Ethan having a meltdown over a video made about him from a smaller creator called North Star Radio. So let's see if Ethan watched it and...
Also, a former H3 fan that later became a Hassan fan. Like, you know, I'm not even sure this guy is a Hassan fan. It just seems like he's just a former Ethan fan. And me as well, I only knew of Hassan through H3. Like, I was an H3 fan before I was an Hassan fan. So, like, there's a clear pattern that I don't think Ethan recognizes within his fan base, where it's just like, people were a fan of you, and they became a fan of this other guy, and they were fans of both of you, because they both viewed you as, like, these progressive left-wing figures who, you know, both have their controversial past. Hassan is controversial because he said that Americans deserved 9/11, and Ethan has said some wild shit in the past, even openly saying the N-word. But you know, it's something that their fans were able to look over, and you know, has been addressed in the past, and you know, people like them for it. But then the split happened. They saw that Ethan wasn't as progressive as he I guess wanted people to think, and then after that just slowly started to have a fucking meltdown to the point where not a lot of people can support him anymore. And I've said this openly, I believe on Twitter. I feel like a lot of H3's fan base now are either people who just want to stick around because they just want things to go back to normal and are just kind of thugging it out, and the others are Destiny fans that just want to see this continue. Like, I honestly think I wouldn't be surprised if a large amount of his active fan base has been overtaken by Destiny fans, and a lot of the people who aren't able to wait to see if things go back to normal in terms of content have just left at this point. Or they left, you know, back during October 7th when he was starting to become more and more open about being supportive of Israel.
How he responded to the points made in the video.
This dude, Comrade Casey, okay, he made a video about the end of Leftovers. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as fuck, and I generally don't like watching videos like this because it's usually depressing. Bring back the Ethan Klein shut off. Bro, are you okay?
I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, clearly not. Like, I feel so of two minds about all this stuff. Because, like, obviously, you know, from a practical standpoint, these people, their level of obsession and harassment is a detriment to our lives. But, like, that's when you see under the mask and you see the person and just, like, there's
Listen,
obviously a lot going on.
I'm out of sympathy.
Yeah, I
Fuck
get it.
Guy and
I don't.
fuck this guy forever.
You don't
with
need
the
to
cactus sideways.
I got you.
As you can see, instead of watching the video, Ethan's first reaction is to go through the creator's Reddit account and show his audience some of his old comments. I hope you are starting to understand my point, but again, here's Ethan a few days ago calling out Hassan.
Now, instead of actually addressing a single point, he stops it before he gets there. I hope it's clear to everybody just how bad faith this is right now, and how desperately he's trying not to respond to any of the actual criticism that I've made.
But let's see, maybe Ethan will give this video one more chance.
Yeah, because your
after all,
criticisms are just so flagrantly, just, what is it? I'm trying to think of the word. I don't know. Like, it's very obvious that he's not, they're purposely bad faith. They're obviously bad faith. That's what his criticisms are. They're bad faith in nature. And you can tell, like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised from a guy who has literally said that he spends a lot of time with ChatGPT, or used to, that I shouldn't give this guy much credit on being a researcher. But, like, all of his criticisms are inherently bad faith. It comes from a very biased point of view. because, you know, he formerly lived in Israel. He has an IDF wife. Like, I don't like, it's just funny because literally everything he says in this video, more than likely, can be attributed to him. Like we just saw then with the Conrad Casey video where he didn't even watch it and was just like, no, let me dig up some of these old comments. If Ethan Klein wants to dig up old comments, there's plenty of stuff from his past that can be brought up and criticized that is definitely way more heinous than anything Conrad Casey has said before. Like, there was one clip that's been going around. He had Post Malone on the podcast, and he essentially said that women are made to be subservient. And Joji, also known as Filthy Frank, he was in the background of that episode, and you could just see his face being like, I don't know about that.
Or apes or whatever, right? Our Neanderthal cousins were probably just raping like crazy. So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer. Men want to like conquer.
Right.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting like to be conquered.
I've seen some people meme about that. They were just like, that's when Joji decided that he just should do music full time, when he was like, I need to get out of this space.
Well, he's the one.
And that's not even the wildest thing. Like, again, he has openly said the N-word. His wife, Hila, was on, like, she was like a guest on the show once, and she was like, yeah, we had to go into a terrorist city at one point and extract a bunch of terrorists, but really what it was just them kidnapping people. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's wild fucking shit. Them, like, there's even been videos of them being in Israel where they made fun of other Jews and Arabs. Like, just disgusting.
Brought it up during the podcast.
Twitch streamer on the platform was blown.
Oh, hey guys, what's up? I'm North Star Commie Radio, and Ethan's a Zionist pig.
It's like Ethan hates me now.
It's like Charlie, but like not funny.
So yeah, 12 seconds in.
Yeah, 12 seconds in, just making fun of their voice.
And Ethan stops it to make a personal attack, and that's it. He won't show anything else from the video, and instead will go back to Reddit to comb through his comment history.
So anyway, this guy who made this video that's like super weird and biased towards Hassan and is like mega commie, tanky.
Just throwing in
so
words.
this guy looked into him.
So a video he hasn't watched.
You can tell he's been like, I mean, you can tell just from a lot of the screenshots that he has shown. There's been little proof, like this screenshot right here has literally been taken from like Destiny's Reddit. Like, people have shown me like, yeah, this is like this is the image that he took that he then put on his Instagram story. It's so obvious that he is just perusing Destiny's Reddit, and it's just so sad that that he is just like throwing around words he obviously doesn't know. Like, tanky.
Apparently super weird and biased towards Hassan, but of course Ethan doesn't have to watch or show the video. It's way more effective to just tell his audience that this guy is a communist, so his points don't matter. This is a classic Tim Pool move, by the way.
Like, if you disagree, you're a communist, yeah. And also, like, we watched that video. It wasn't even like that harsh, if I remember correctly, towards Ethan. Like, he couldn't even stand it for 12 minutes.
So let's go back to Ethan's recent video calling out Hassan.
You can see there's layers and layers and layers of character assassination, propaganda, logical fallacies, and
oh my god, yeah, you know, he saw that one son, r/Destiny, and was just like, yeah, I gotta throw that in there. Logical fallacies. Gotta love that. Which is funny because, like, Destiny's a debate bro, and those guys love to do logical fallacies all the time.
One response to any of the points that I've actually made. And it seems obvious to me that he's trying to poison his audience against me.
Character assassination and
No, you're doing a pretty good job of that yourself. Even before Hassan was, like, talking about this topic. Like, when he was going off beforehand, like, when this all started, when he was just trying to go after Hassan was not talking about it at all. He, like, refused to mention it. And even when he would do so, he was very charitable to Ethan. Like, he would tell people, like, he would tell people in his chat, like, don't be weird about it. Don't be gross. Don't be, like, so drama obsessed with this. Like, I still like this guy. I still like Ethan. He's my friend. And it's only until recently where this just continues to happen, and friends of Hassan's have gotten banned off Twitch because of it, where he's just kind of like, it's a little more hands like gloves off. Like, it's only because Ethan continued to push this that Hassan finally started to at least be somewhat aggressive towards him, but not even in an outright fashion. Ethan is almost obsessed with this feud, and I think it's probably because it's the only thing getting him views anymore, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know how well his views are doing, honestly. Let's just kind of check. He probably has like a solid view. Like, solid amount of views recently. I don't know. But it's not like, they're probably gonna do as well as like drama shit. Yeah, like this one got the most amount of views, but like they've been pretty, I don't know, they've been pretty standard. But when it comes to like the Twitch drama shit, like here and here, they tend to be his most viewed ones. The only other one is the Lunchly mold, but that was like a big story at the time. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe I'm strong. They have a pretty steady audience, but I think that, I don't know. It just has to be an obsession thing for him. He's just obsessed with this and can't stop.
One response to the actual criticisms, I really wonder who would do
like
that.
He just lost his goddamn mind, and I don't know. He just can't stop thinking about it.
This fucking doughy white bitch is making content that is biased against me. And also, apparently, he hates Jewish people. Comrade Casey, you bitch-ass weirdo. You look like a weirdo. And I don't hate mustaches, but man, that's a weirdo mustache. So this guy looked into him. This guy who runs North Star Radio, Comrade Casey, they found his Reddit account. He's a big Hassan fan and clearly developed a deep hatred for Ethan and Hila since October 7th.
So he's made a video about Ethan that he hasn't watched because it's too long, but he took the time to look into him and read every comments this guy's ever posted, and that's what Ethan will focus on to debunk the video. Now here's Ethan just a few days ago complaining that
like how can you not say that's in bad faith when you literally have this up? The Twitch logo made to look like the Nazi Thunderbolts and say that you're also not operating in bad faith.
Now here's Ethan just a few days ago complaining that Hassan should watch the videos he made about him instead of relying on his chat to tell him what was said in these videos.
He didn't watch any of it. He's basing this based on, like, I guess, chat. And, it's like, what do you... Talk about it or don't, man. Don't do this shit.
Let's see if Ethan would rely on other people to watch the videos for him, because I have a big problem with this next clip.
He made a video. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as fuck. And I think everybody noticed as they were watching through it, even Hassan, I think, commented on it, that this video is a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
You had mentioned you had watched it.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. It is biased towards Hassan.
Even Hassan was getting like frustrated watching it, and he was confused, and he was like, "This is fucking weird."
Yeah, Hassan didn't like the video at all, from what I recall. He thought it was weird, and the more it went on, the more he kind of like.
God, I hate this. Like, I've always been very like, I've always said, like, when it comes to the crew, like, to always be nice to them if you're gonna talk about this whole Ethan Klein Hassan drama. But like, I don't know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe because I was always of the mind that maybe they don't share the same view as him, and you don't. I think it's true that there is always this kind of awkward tension between all of them, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Because like the fact that like that's not the case, and that would literally be proven right here.
Disliked it.
I was so disappointed by the crew when I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just bad faith or if they also didn't really watch Hassan's reaction, but I will show you a clip of him talking about this video.
What is it? Oh, I gotta go. I gotta finish. I'll finish this tomorrow. I gotta do the podcast. Personal news wise, I ended the broadcast.
Yeah, when he came to like well, I'll just
we
let this
watched a
finish.
YouTube video that was really good, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's by Comrade Casey in the chat, also known as, I believe, North Star Radio. Is that what it is? Is that what his YouTube name is? I forget.
Yeah, he literally says that the video was great. He really liked the video. And when it came to like him being frustrated, it was he was frustrated because people in the chat were being weird about this drama shit. Like, this was like the first time I believe he ever really commented on, you know, the Ethan Klein drama even a little bit. And he showed a lot more like resistance to his chat because he didn't want them to be weird about, you know, the whole thing, didn't want to feed into it. But since Ethan continuously would not stop, you know, feeding into it himself, Hassan started pushing back too. He was like, all right, if you're not going to give up on this, if you're going to continue to act in bad faith and be so obsessed with just coming after me, I'm going to push back. Like, what do you expect? Like, even before Hassan was like pushing back at all, Ethan was still trying to paint himself out to be the victim of all this, even when Hassan was not even mentioning him.
Since we were talking about Hassan's chat, let's talk about it more because that's one of the main point of criticism Ethan has. He thinks his chat should challenge him more.
It makes me sad that people in his audience let him get away with
I
these
don't know.
types of...
God. As someone who is a Hassan fan, as someone who watches him pretty regularly, acting as if he does not have people in his chat who challenge him on a daily basis is so fucking stupid.
Like hand waving.
And once again, if you're a Hassan fan, challenge him to do better than this. This is dishonest. And more than that, I'd like for him to just respond to one of the points I made, just directly.
The do better part of this statement is really important because we recently had a great example of Ethan being challenged by his own chat to do better.
Truly disgusting, disappointed in you and the crew. Do better! The crew. If you had a dog, y'all wouldn't have thought twice, but it was a cat and you don't care. Shut up, you fucking freak, weirdo, loser.
So following Ethan's logic, how does he react to his own audience
Yeah,
when
he
they
handles criticism very well.
try to hold him accountable? He often uses two techniques. Here's the first one.
Oh yeah, turn comments off. Yeah, he really loves being challenged. That's why he doesn't allow anyone to comment on his videos. And you know what's funny is that I think this will probably show up since he makes it a point. What's really funny about this is that Klein, not that long ago, like before they started turning comments off on all these videos, literally said in like relation to something else, was like, if you lost if you turn off the comments. If you turn off the comments, you lost. And then not that long afterwards, they started turning off comments. So like, do you know you lost? Is this just like a humiliation kink for you now at this point? If you're literally like, if you hold these beliefs that if you are turning comments off, you essentially lost this argument that you're trying to make. Not that long after, you're like, it's just, I don't know. It has to be.
I found interesting from just a few days before they turned off comments on all their recent videos. It's just too good.
He also started turning off replies. Yeah.
Ooh, that's cringy.
Yeah.
Logan did?
Logan turned off replies.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know you lost.
Yep.
When you did that.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But apparently another problem Ethan has with Hassan is how he sometimes loses it and yells at his chat.
I fucking despise all of you, dude.
And you know,
yeah, again, as someone who watches Hassan very regularly, there's some dumbasses in the chat. There's some people who just get annoying.
Really cute the way that he like says crazy shit to his chat. I don't think it's really that cute. I don't know why people let him get away with that.
Now,
by the way, a lot of these problems he has with Hassan, like a lot of them, like they're not new. Like the stuff that he criticizes Hassan for, like just then where he yells at chat, like Hassan's always yelled at his chat for being annoying. And this guy was your co-host, so what? It only became a problem when you guys weren't like co-hosts anymore, when you weren't making money off him?
Let's see how Ethan responded to the pushback from his chat the day after he made jokes about Aaron Bushnell, who set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy. And I want to remind you, the people in the live chat
this was literally when I was like, there's no coming back from this. I just refused to be a fan of his anymore. Because before then, obviously I was upset over, his views about about what Israel was doing in Gaza. But like, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, he's still, at that point, it felt like he was still very sympathetic, like more pro Gaza than pro Israel, maybe, at least a little bit. And I started watching him again because he had this really good video where he and the crew basically spent like 3.5 hours making fun of Aiden Ross. So I was like, you know what? This was really funny. This was really great. Maybe I'll slowly start watching them again. And then shortly afterwards, this happened. And then I was just like, yeah, I don't think I can ever go back to watching this guy regularly. Like, it's just disgusting. If this is your output on it, if, you know, making a joke about it, the way that he talked about it afterwards, if that's your output on what happened with this guy, I just can't. I can't. And thank God, because, you know, if it wasn't then, it certainly would be now, where I would just, you know, draw that line and be like, I'm not gonna follow this guy anymore.
All paying members.
Well, unless I'm misunderstanding, tell me why. I'd love to know why.
What I saw.
Because you made fun of him burning. Okay, dummy. I joke about all this shit every fucking day, and now all of a sudden you gotta get all bitched out. Like, give me a break, dude. You know, suck my fucking dick. Give me a fucking break. Look in the mirror, loser. You're the problem. You are the problem. You are. Fuck you.
Jesus
You
Christ.
people. So why are you expressing such dumb fucking thoughts in my chat? Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're...
Man, he's really mean to his chat, you know. Man, he really is mean to his chat, isn't he? Because they don't think it's cool that he made fun of a guy who burned himself alive because he just couldn't, you know, he just hated the fact that he was participating in the system that was killing people in Gaza.
You're that sensitive. So give me a fucking break. Who's the problem? Scumbag. Scumbag. So you're a fake fucking fan. Fuck you. Get lost. I'm sick of it.
But maybe it's just the chat that is...
He sounds like a goddamn like cancer culture comedian. Like, you know those comedians who always go up and be like, cancer culture is out of control. Like, nobody can take a joke anymore. Everyone's just so soft. That's what he sounds like.
Overly sensitive, right? Ethan is known to make edgy jokes and to make fun of all different groups of people. We call it goblin mode, and that's why people love him.
Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive, then you need to go the fuck away and go
Like, you can make edgy jokes. The problem is like, what exactly? I don't know. Like, edgy jokes, whatever. Like, I like dark humor too, but I think the dark humor I like is very much in contrast to like what a lot of people who say they like dark humor is. Like, when I say I like dark humor, I like, it's like a American Psycho where the whole joke is that like these rich, you know, these like rich guys who are obsessed with money are all the same. They think they're so special, shit like that, and they're also like very close to being psychopathic killers. Like, that's the sort of comedy I like. It's, to me, I don't know. You know, some people say that comedy only works when you punch up. I don't really believe that. I think you can make jokes about trans people that aren't like, you know, harmful, but like, you can make a joke about, like, you can make jokes about trans people, but when it comes to edgy jokes, I think edgy jokes only really work when you are punching up. Because, I don't know, when you make edgy jokes about a certain group of people, like marginalized group of people, there's always, it's always kind of like a smooth line to cross, because you don't want to say anything that is like harmful. And with edgy jokes, that's kind of the whole point, is to kind of toe that line. And if you're not careful about it, it can be really bad. But when it comes to people who aren't marginalized, yeah, it's easy to make edgy jokes about them because there is no line you really need to cross at all. Because, like, who cares? They're like, you know, the people in power. Like, making an edgy joke about white men, like, who gives a shit? Like, I don't know. So yeah, making an edgy joke about someone who literally, you know, killed themselves because they just couldn't stand what was happening in Gaza, and they're, you know, with him being in the army, you know, being a part of the system that fuels that, yeah, it's not really something to make like an edgy joke about, where he says like, oh yeah, he was really good at burning alive. Yeah, maybe that's just something you don't need to joke about. Sometimes you don't need to joke about some things. And also, like, you should know that you have a history of being like controversial for that reason. Like, maybe at some point you should kind of learn to, like, you know, hone it in.
Is going to just tell you everything you want to hear all the time and never make you feel uncomfy. There's plenty of them out there. Go. It's really annoying that like people just, they stand by like just waiting for any reason to call me. And by the way, why? Because I made one stupid, insensitive joke. If you can't deal with it, then you're a fucking hypocrite. Because I make these
Even
jokes
if
about
you,
all.
if you know it's stupid and insensitive, why don't you just apologize? Like, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't really feel like you mean it when you're just like, yeah, I made a stupid joke, stupid insensitive joke. If you're also like, how dare you say that say that it's bad that I made that joke?
Different topics, about all different sensitive things, about all different groups of people, every fucking show. And then when it lightly brushes on your shoulder, you freak the fuck out and you bitch and you cry and you go and you try to find any reason to you know what I mean, to get angry.
After hearing all that, I wonder how Ethan would react if he was the subject of a joke. Like he said, he makes jokes about all different groups of people. He's a free speech absolutist after all.
It's a panel hosted by Frogan and 4 of her friends, in which they have a tier list where they rate people where good is Arab and bottom is loves Sabra. Sabra is a very popular hummus brand. I know in Israel, it's pretty much in everybody's refrigerator, and it's kosher. They're an American company, but they've been the subject of the pro-Palestine boycott. I mean, it's kind of just Arab good, Jew bad.
Just like so fucking stupid. Also, on this panel, I forget which one, like who it is. There is a Jewish man a part of this panel. I forget exactly who it was. I'm not sure. I know like they're like these 2 guys are part of a podcast with Rogan called Arabs, where like the whole point of it is like you put this like, this Muslim woman with a I believe one of them's Christian and the other one's Jewish. Like it's these, Arabic people of different, backgrounds coming together and talking about subjects. So like even a Jewish man participated in this. So saying that like this guy is going to participate in a, Arab good, Jew bad tier list is just, it's just fucking wild. Also, again, that's not what it is. They're just saying like Sabra is just bad hummus. They're just making fun of the fact that Sabra isn't good hummus.
Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. Do you know that there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening in front of your sponsor?
This tier list isn't about being Jewish
really
at all. Not only is
he's just
one
bitching and moaning
of the panelists Jewish, but in the Love Sabra category, people from all different races and religions were included alongside Ethan. It's more about
Oh yeah, I think did they put Denims in the bottom?
Not knowing much about Arabic culture and therefore eating shitty.
Also, like, yeah, like it obviously was just supposed to be like a meme list. Like I think it's supposed to be like Pokemon or Charlie, and thinking that Sabra is a slur.
Not knowing much about Arabic culture and therefore eating shitty hummus.
I believe they also put Jinxie in the bottom tier for some reason.
What is it? Ramadan what?
Lena.
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak.
Bike?
Mubarak.
Oh,
Mubarak.
Mubarak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you said it good.
What does it mean?
Mubarak Obama.
Happy Ramadan.
Mubarak Obama?
I want to address one last point in this video, and it's about the H3 Snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
Because I believe these Snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. This is like, it's not as bad as jailbait, but it's like giving like, I have a feeling it's going to be banned, and then everyone will be like, that was insane. Why the fuck was that allowed on the website for so long? These people are literally fucking, it's cult behavior.
Let me look it up. Because I've never seen the H3 Snark. I've never seen the community, so let me just check it out. I don't know, it doesn't seem like... What is this? Oh, it's a lot of Teddy Fresh merch. I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's... I don't know, maybe because it's just like it seems like these are pretty tame. Like they're just criticism of him. Like most of it just kind of, at least in this, I don't know. Like I don't know like the exact, history of this Reddit. It seems pretty tame. I don't know. But again, it could just be because, like, I think, this whole topic is probably taking it up. I don't know. I want to listen to this.
About me, like various clips from the stream. And
I really like Felix. I like his commentary on this. I want to watch this.
I did not know that that was what was going on. And since then, I referred to it one time when he said Defense Minister Yoav Gallant is a good guy.
Oh no.
And then apologized for it and said, my bad, me and my wife do not know anything about politics. We just kind of loosely pay attention. And he is a moderating voice in the war cabinet.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So he apologized. He said, mea culpa, my bad. And I think people were telling me that he then spent the rest of the video talking about how I love Hezbollah. Which, by the way, once again, okay, get mad at me all day. Numbers on the board. Hezbollah more restrained than the tit for tat back and forth missile lobbing campaigns. Last time I checked, that did not eliminate entire fucking city blocks in Tel Aviv in the same way that Israel did in Beirut. So
maybe.
And they have fiber internet, which is something that I will never get over because
I just like, oh my God. And I think like the first time I even heard Hassan speak about all this was when Felix was on the show. Like it was at the same time when Ethan made this entire stream where he talked about Hassan. Like this was well after like he started going down this path of just losing his goddamn shit. Yeah, this one. 3 weeks ago. It just so happened to be the same day that Hassan had 2 anti-Zionist Jews on his stream. And Felix was on that. And Felix, if you don't know, is a part of the Chapo Trap House podcast. I really love that podcast, really love his work. Felix was on there, and that was like the first time I believe he really, really kind of like went after Ethan a bit, and even then it wasn't much. It's just it but yeah, kind of like going back to what he was saying about like, the tit for tat missile campaign, it seems like, yeah, that's very much kind of what's happening here. Like Ethan keeps lobbing over all these criticisms, but none of them really land as much. Like none of them are very valid and don't really land unless you're like a hardcore Destiny fan, in which case you probably made up these criticisms or are just repeating what Destiny said, and Ethan is just using that against him. But like most people who see this, they're just like, yeah, it's just fucking weird. Like, what are you doing?
I don't think they're allowed to like straight up brigade, so they're doing like a very loud dog whistle, being like, hey, let's put a compilation of Ethan. The whole snark phenomenon is so pathetic that Reddit allows this shit to continue, because it feels like every snark subreddit leans into like straight up psychopathy in terms of like the harassment and the intention to try to ruin somebody's life.
And one last time, let's go back to
Doesn't that kind of sound like what Ethan is doing now, though? Come on, Ethan, do you not realize that you're kind of trying to do that right now? Like, yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, yeah, I don't think there should be entire communities dedicated to like ruining someone's career or their life. Like, an entire community that just exists to harass this one person. But that's literally where you have been getting most of your talking points, is from a community that literally just hates this one person and wants to end their career.
Ethan's reaction of the North Star radio video,
and
how he
has tried to he's tried to like dismiss that in the past, where he was just like, oh, they say that I get my talking points from Destiny, but like I don't really follow. Like, there's so much proof that you do. He literally was on r/Destiny on stream And it shows that like he does visit there quite frequently. And again, there's like that one screenshot I showed of him trying to go after Mehdi Hassan. And it's like people have shown proof that that screenshot that he took was from Destiny's Reddit.
Reddit when he faces criticism, even from a way smaller creator.
First of all, shout out to whoever did the ops on this. Lovely Callisto. Thank you. I made an Imager album of his H3 Snark posts in chronological order and sprinkled in a few of his cringy main subreddit posts too, along with it. So here's this fucking guy. Let's look at some of his greatest hits. He's also making fan covers and asking Ethan to bring back his personal channel. Grimace shaking Fortnite folk cover.
How dare you, dude?
Well, guess what, bitch? I know who the fuck you are, and I'm gonna have a conversation about it. Let me take a look at this guy's channel.
Shouting out his fans for screenshotting every comment and collecting every information on this guy and showing everything live. How is this
Seems like that's harassment.
different from what Ethan says the Snark sub is doing? I mean, it might be even worse because of the power of a channel as big as Ethan's.
Here's a post. I don't know. Was this the same?
Yeah, maybe when you're, you know, the figurehead of a channel with 2 million subscribers, maybe you shouldn't be putting some random people who are, you know, like definitely below you in terms of that social status. Maybe you shouldn't, you know, be putting them on full blast to your audience of 2 million people just because you have a disagreement with them. And again, I watched the video. It's not even like a bad faith video. I don't know what the fuck the crew was talking about unless they also been brainwashed by fucking Ethan Klein's mental breakdown.
Investigator. By the way, I didn't even mention this guy, and he's like deleting his shit. And you should be scared, you fucking scumbag.
You've been mentioning him the entire time. He literally just showed that, like, oh god, I just can't stand him anymore.
Yes, he should be scared because Ethan knows by doing that, he's sending his audience to harass this guy. Him and his crew know what their audience is capable of, even if Ethan plays dumb sometimes.
Well, I hope people don't hold us to the standard of what our community does.
Right.
What does our community do? I mean, you say that, but what do they do? Our community is fantastic. It's all love.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Name one thing.
They've never caused us any trouble by. I don't even want to go there.
Well, tell me and I can button it. Even if they did something silly, because I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it was silly and harmless.
Sure.
If you're
Yeah, it's definitely silly and harmless. That's what I'm referring to.
But it's not sending like fucking hate and death wishes to supposed friends. Anyway.
Ethan is a snarker. In fact, he's the ultimate snarker, weaponizing his audience to send massive hate waves and his crew.
I don't know. I'm kind of at the point when it comes to the crew where it's just like the fact that nobody has kind of taken a look at it and been like, do you know what? Maybe I don't know. I think there have been people who have left. But I don't know. Like, it's just always disappointing because I've always come through the lens of it of being like, look, it's their job. They might just be afraid to speak up and, you know, risk their livelihood for this. But the fact that like you even saw with a clip of this, I believe it was Love and Olivia literally like try to spin the story of being like, oh yeah, this one guy's video, Hassan hated it. Hassan hated it, even though he literally didn't. Like, I don't know what you were talking about. It seems like even they didn't watch the video. They just saw one clip of Hassan going after his community for being like, hey, don't be worried about this drama shit. And they were just like, oh yeah, that's how he feels about the video, right? No.
To find intel on his enemies by yelling at his chat when he gets any pushback, turning off comments, paying mods to heavily restrict what can be posted on his own subreddit. He's not letting any other place to have a nuanced conversation about his show or to present any criticism. He's been trying to portray the people who participate in this sub as stalker lunatics, but in reality, most of them are former big fans who are now disappointed in Ethan and were banned when they tried to express any pushback over the past year.
Oh, Comrade Casey just messaged me and said I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show.
Shut up, bitch! Talk about these nuts, motherfucker. You appreciate me not talking about you?
I just
Suck
responded,
my dick, bitch.
He said I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show, and I responded, bruh.
I bet you
and then
would,
I blocked
motherfucker. Sucks to be outed as a piece of shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That doesn't it, Ethan?
How's that feel, Casey? I'm talking to you right now. Comrade Casey, we're not comrades anymore.
With all that being said, I know I won't change anyone's mind with this video, but if you felt the same way I did, just know you're not alone. In the past few weeks, all the other H3 fan channels I was in contact with for years, people who were as big of fans as I was, have told me they've also unsubscribed because of Ethan's hateful actions. That's it for this video. Take care and free Palestine.
Yeah, this was a great video. Like, it perfectly summarizes the problem with what Ethan's been doing for like the last couple months. Just constantly just going after, like, becoming the very thing that he claims to hate, which is just a fucking troll. A snark. But yeah, this was a really good video. Like, it's just sad, again, as someone who was a fan of his for a long time, just to see what he's become. Like, if he really had this much of a problem with Hassan and the things that he has said, you had him on your show for like, I think they had it for like well over a year. I'm not sure how long the podcast ran for. But like the fact that like he had so much problems with Hassan all of a sudden in terms of, you know, the things that he says, not just in terms of the topic of what's been going on in Gaza, but like many things he also like brings up China and shit like that. Was like, it's not like he hides his opinions on all this shit, so like that's kind of on you, bud. I don't know why it's a problem for you all of a sudden. But yeah, that's where we're just gonna kind of leave that. Who knows? We'll see where this goes. It doesn't seem like Ethan's gonna give up when it comes to this drama shit, so we'll just have to wait and see what's next.